I really hope that you enjoy this b-roll, because today I am going to show you how I shot this video, with what settings in my camera, what kind of light and stuff I used, and eventually I will show you how I made this b-roll. But before we get started, I want to say thank you for your attention to my channel, I really appreciate that, and if it's the first time you are watching me, my name is Vlad and I will be grateful for your subscription, comment, like, and let's go ahead and dive right in. If you are watching this video, you probably know content creators as Daniel Schiffer, Peter Lindgren and Peter McKinnon. Of course, great YouTubers, interesting people and amazing filmmakers. Each of them has its own particular style and special features. I have been watching Daniel for a long time, and after each his amazing b-roll, I just like, yeah, I can do this. I really able to do the same cool b-roll. But every time I just putting away this on the long box and didn't do it. But when I started my English YouTube channel, I finally did it, and it was amazing. I will show you guys how it was. I really hope that Daniel doesn't mind that I use some of his movements, because it's all for creation. Like said classic Austin Kleon in his book, "Steal like an artist." Let's be honest, we all steal and copy to eventually create something new and modern. And let's start with the location. All things we're shooting in this room, it's our guest room. Here was white table from the kitchen. I had here only one main light. It is my budget softbox from China with one light bulb. I use it all the time in all my videos. This side I put my favorite retro lamp, and on the opposite side my RGB light, which was staying on this rack. About my items which I used. It was shaker bottle, cup lid and grid, protein jar and glass with milk. For shooting I used my main and only one camera, it is Sony a6400 with zoom lens from Tamron 1770 f2.8. I filmed in Full HD resolution with 100 fps, because my camera has maximum 30 fps in 4K. It wasn't enough for good slow motion, therefore I had to sacrifice my quality of the video to get cool slow-mo movements in post-editing. Of course, all clips filmed with aperture f2.8, because I needed to blur background as much as possible. Since I filmed with 100 fps, I needed to take shutter speed in the camera from 200 to 250, depending on how fast the subject will move in the frame. And only after that I exposed my frame from 0 to 1 using ISO. My own picture profile settings I will put in the description below the video. Now I use only two picture profiles, mostly I shoot with this, it is my favorite profile in Rec 709, or I use HLG3 with BT 2020. What I mostly like in this Cine 4 movie, because I don't need to do anything else after. In color grading it's already looks great, and I do just a couple of things and that's all. I knew what kind of shots I want to get from what sides with what movements, because I had wrote all shoot steps on my paper and I was following for each of them during the entire of shooting. Of course, it wasn't very simple like it looks in the final result. All tricks were repeated again and again, plus it was my first experience of shooting b-roll with an actor. But it was definitely interesting and convenient, because you are caring about all in your shot and only you are controlling it. Okay, great, we did all our shots which we needed, and now let's start editing. I use Final Cut Pro 10, this is where I edit all my videos. You can use any other program, it doesn't really matter. As you can see, this is the timeline for our b-roll sequence, and let's play it one time, just a quick refresh. As you can see, there is not a lot of work and it is not as complicated as it looks. Down here it is our song, which I cut a little bit for better introduction, and above you can see our music track. We have all these little clips that make up the sound design that you hear throughout the sequence, various whooshes, shakes and other sound effects. Above our main track, adjustment layer with a little color correction, which we will surely check it later. I will click Command R on my keyboard to show you all retiming and speed ramping that were done to each clip. The color orange indicates shows where clip have been slowed down, blue indicates shows where clips have been speed up, and green indicates shows where clip is playing at its regular real-life speed, and these gray bars indicate that a speed ramp is taking place and the speed is changing gradually. So now we know what is exactly going with all clips and we can start. Our first clip above the main track that contains the rest of our footage, and the reason for that is because our clip overlap a little bit where I created a first transition. At the beginning of the video I used simple transition fading from black, and this was done by keyframing with the opacity of footage from 1 to 100%, as you can see here. After some dramatic speed ramping you can see that our whole clip starts to move upward, revealing the next shot, which also moves upward into the frame. That was done by keyframing the position of each shot to move upward simultaneously, while also using a shape mask to further the edge of our top clip so that there is no harsh line and it falls off initially into our second shot. The next shot is very simple with speed ramping as well. Our clip starts to move left and the second shot is also repeating the movements into the frame without any additional masks, either transitions, because all our work we got done previously in shooting. On the next clip I used zooming, what was done by keyframing, as you can see. To make this shot more dramatic with speed ramping, of course, on the next shot I will continue zooming to repeating the movement with speed ramping on the clip as well. And here is it could be the similar transition with the shape mask as at first time, but I noticed that it looks great without it because of the similar movements on the first and the second clips. So I decided to make a simple cut without any transitions. The next simple cut as well, transition with the fade from the dark. All these shots looks great, thankfully previously prepared scenario and work in shooting. The next one my favorite and mostly hard shoot, which I was shooting maybe 20 times before I got the right shot. Here is a second similar transition with the shape mask and keyframing the position. I need to notice that it's very important to continue movements in the same ways. For example, if you are moving to the left, next shot must be continue your way of moving to the left. Exactly because of it looks more smooth. Then next interesting shot, which is of course we didn't do the first time, then simple cuts with speed ramping of clips, and final shot which I stabilized a little bit and the end. Without color grading it looks like this. I didn't do much correction, just a couple of things. Firstly I put it down shadows and highlights to do more dark and contrast shot, and then added sharpen with shape mask on the center of the screen to get more sharpness in the central subjects. Because almost in all clips the main subject was in the center of the frame, and if you remember, all shots we filmed in full HD resolution, so therefore I really needed this. The next and the last work which I did was sound design. All whooshes, rotation and leads, pouring water and etc. I found on the internet, and eventually we got this. And for the last time, let's watch all result what we got in the end. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, because I try to do all my best to show you how easy you can shoot your own epic b-roll like Daniel, Schiffer, Peter Lindgren, Peter McKinnon, Vlad Suvorov. Just kidding. Make sure to give this video a like, please subscribe, I will be grateful for it, and see you on the next videos.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race, every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way, had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way, caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up.